What's next? I want to continue on the "you are God" idea. You are God, but you might ask, well, do I have to really follow their rules? And yes, you have to follow their laws and regulation to the letter of the law. And the funny thing is, they make these laws so that we have to follow them for a better society. But those in power manipulate and change the rules for their own self-interest. But the laws and the regulations are still pretty much built on a solid foundation, although sometimes it's manipulated during the process. So you really don't want to stand out, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to stand out. They want you to break their laws. They want you to become a target, so they can use you and manipulate you to push their own agenda. So if you break the rules by rioting and looting and getting your right side, if you fight the system, they're just going to make you a target and use you to put fear in others. So though they might not prosecute the rioters and looters, they win so much by the rioters and looters because they can use them to impose stricter curfews, stricter laws to punish those who do follow the rules, and to prevent those who are free thinkers from getting too far out of hand. So the idea is, you make the rules for your own life, and you follow their rules to the letter, and you don't stand out too much. You keep yourself just out of view, but still following your own path. It's a balancing act, but it's doable. There are other things where they, want to unplug and get outside the normal system. Well, then you're easy to find, and you're easy to follow. And they'll know who you are at all times, because you're outside the normal system and you're a target for them. They're always going to try to follow us. But there are so many to follow. As long as you don't stand out too much, they're going to ignore you. And then there are others who are in your life who ask questions like, did you see the news? And I personally do not watch the news. But they really don't want to know whether you know the news. They want to express their own opinion. So if someone asks, did you see the news? And I'll probably say no. And then they'll start to extrapolate on it, and they'll ask, what did you think about this? Now, they want to put you into a conversation. But most likely it's just they want to express their own opinion. So your best bet is to just say, I'm not sure. What do you think about it? And listen to them without judging. No matter what they say, no matter what judgmental and silly or off-base thing they say, you just listen with an open mind and with compassion. So when I'm saying whatever silly thing they say, I'm kind of putting myself in a bad foot, but you just have to accept things as they are. And if it comes across as silly, listen a little bit harder, because there might be a truth in there somewhere. Because that's what the system does, is they manipulate the truth and they make it ridiculous. They cover a covering, a shroud, so you kind of miss the truth. So as silly as something is, it might be based on truth in some form or fashion. You just have to learn to dig it out. Like an apple covered with sugar. Now, when someone presents you with an apple covered with sugar, you can still accept it and take your knife of ingenuity, cut it in half, and still eat the apple and avoid the sugar. And And that's what the information that we have to learn. So we have to learn to look at the information with a crucial eye to find out where the truth is, because compassion will always show you what the real truth is, and then the manipulators will just shove whatever they want upon it. A good example is UFOs. They use the UFO thing for their own agenda. Now, there are strange things, and there are aliens, and there are individuals who use the alien agenda to help themselves. And let's just put that there are aliens, that they're coming and visiting the Earth, and the government doesn't want to disclose it. I don't think they care about the aliens and disclosing the aliens. What they want to do is, the aliens really don't want to make a big show of themselves outward too much. They don't want to be on TV. They don't want to have to explain everything. But the government wants to use this in order to hide their military spending and test their crazy aircrafts. So then they can put out their aircrafts and let them fly anywhere. They can't really hide them very well. And then they can say, people report, oh, I saw an alien aircraft. And the government will go, there are no such thing as alien aircrafts. You're just seeing things. And it's never saying, wait a second, there was an aircraft, but they just say, no, even the proof is there was something there, it's not alien. But they don't go any further than that. And then, of course, everyone says, well, then they're aliens. They're hiding it. The government's hiding it. But what they do is the government infiltrates the UFO groups and puts crackpots in there just so these crackpots are actors to manipulate the narrative. The truth is there. There are ships, there are planes, everything. But then they have people do the most ridiculous things, so they can be discredited, so they can discredit the group, the UFO group, and the government can freely fly their crazy military aircraft. The aliens that work with the government can come in and come out as they want. And then everyone in control can continue to maintain their control. The truth is out there. You just have to learn to look for it in the right way and be able to filter out the misinformation and garbage and the bad actors who are made to infiltrate the conspiracy theory. That's another problem, Even Anonymous has got paid actors from the CIA in it. It's just because a group is doing good and they're too far in the light, well, government needs to put their own narrative into it. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, you are in total control of your own life, but you don't have to make an example of yourself. You can just live your life and be free. And if others ask their questions, you can answer them in the most compassionate way possible. You don't have to judge them. You don't have to argue. You just live your life. Because another thing about the spiritual path is that although sometimes they go parallel, sometimes they cross, other times they go in totally opposite directions. And we're just here for each other, to help each other along the way. And if my friend's spiritual path goes in the opposite direction of mine, I might not be able to help, but I can find a way of supporting them. And that's all we really need, is just to support each other in our own personal, individual, spiritual paths, and to help prop up each other's God. What's next?